You ever just sit there, phone in hand, scrolling past wins, houses, brands, abs, followers, launches, and suddenly it hits you like a brick in the chest? Am I falling behind? Like, seriously behind? Like, maybe everyone else got the memo on how to build a life, and you didn't. They're all sprinting, and you're just stuck. Same room, same hoodie, same dishes, same guilt. But what if you're not actually behind? What if the internet just rewired your brain to feel that way? On purpose? Because that lie keeps you scrolling, keeps you chasing, keeps you doubting yourself. And the truth? It's quieter, but it's what you need to hear next. You keep thinking it's a motivation problem, but it's not. You're not lazy. You're overloaded, not falling behind, just buried under a feed that never turns off. See, the internet didn't just change how we connect, it changed how we compare. Before, you'd measure your progress against people in your circle, your classmates, co-workers, friends, people walking a path kind of like yours. Now, you're comparing your Tuesday afternoon in sweatpants to someone's curated highlight reel with a 10-year head start, a team behind them, and a filter in front of them. You're looking at someone else's chapter 12, while you're still writing chapter 2, and for some reason, you expect the storylines to match up. Of course, it feels like you're losing. Of course, it feels like you're behind, because you're not comparing timelines. You're comparing visibility, and visibility isn't reality. And the worst part, it never stops. The scroll keeps going, the wins keep stacking, the pressure keeps building. Every second, someone's posting faster, better, shinier, and your brain, it starts shifting your definition of normal. What used to feel like progress now feels like falling behind. You finally finish something, and instead of pride, you feel panic, because it's already yesterday's news. We live in this loud, glowing fog of hustle culture. Doesn't matter if it's rise and grind bros, million-dollar morning routines, or soft girl TikToks in pastel lighting. The message is the same. If you're not constantly optimizing, evolving, performing, then what are you even doing? But here's the part nobody says out loud. A lot of the people who look like they're crushing it, they're not. They're burnt out, anxious, faking the light because the algorithm doesn't reward honesty. It rewards momentum. This isn't inspiration. It's exhaustion wearing mascara, and it's making you think there's something wrong with you, when really, you're just trying to survive a game you never signed up to play. So let's call this what it is. Status anxiety. That quiet, gnawing fear that you're not where you're supposed to be, that someone's ahead of you, that you're being silently ranked and slowly erased. It's not just about money. It's not just about likes. It's about where you stand. And the internet, it cranks that dial all the way up. You're not just living your life anymore. You're performing it. Even rest turns into content. Even healing becomes an aesthetic. You're not allowed to just be tired. You have to burn out gracefully. And that's the trap. When you're always performing, you forget how to actually live. You start confusing visibility with value. You start thinking silence means failure. But here's the truth. Rest isn't lazy. It's not weakness. It's not falling behind. Rest is repair. It's where your mind resets, where your creativity returns, where you remember what matters, without asking the internet to approve it. Somewhere along the way, we all got handed this invisible checklist. Graduate by 22, dream job by 24, house by 26, married by 28, millionaire by 30. And if you miss one, you feel like you failed the level, like your life is permanently behind schedule. But stop for a second. Who made this up? Who decided the timestamps on a meaningful life? The answer's messier than we think. Part culture, part media, part marketing. Milestones sell, urgency sells, insecurity really sells. And the worst part, even when people hit the timeline, they still feel behind. Because the goalpost doesn't stop moving. You land the job, and suddenly it's not enough. You buy the house, and now you need a bigger one. You hit one milestone, and immediately start sprinting toward the next. That's the treadmill, and it's powered by your fear of falling behind. But here's the thing, nobody tells you. Even making it won't fix that fear, because it was never about the checklist. It was about your worth, and you've always had that. Even when your timeline looks nothing like theirs, there's something deeper happening in your brain, and most people don't even know it. It's called the default mode network, the part of your mind that lights up when you're not focused on anything in particular, when you're walking aimlessly, sitting in silence, journaling, daydreaming. It's responsible for reflection, self-awareness, and your sense of identity. But here's the catch. When you're constantly scrolling, clicking, watching, that network goes dark. Your brain never enters that slow, quiet state it needs to process your life. So instead of thinking about your path, you're busy absorbing everyone else's. And over time, you start to feel like a side character in your own story, like you're reacting to life instead of writing it. That's why silence feels uncomfortable now. Not because you're doing nothing, but because silence is when the truth comes up. And if you never stop to listen, you never get to hear who you really are. So here's a question most people never ask. What if you're not behind at all? What if your pace, your quiet, imperfect, non-linear pace, is exactly right for what you're building? Real growth doesn't shout. It doesn't go viral. It doesn't look like a time lapse with music swelling in the background. It's quiet. It's messy. It happens when no one's watching. It looks like crying on the floor at 2 a.m. It looks like choosing to try again without posting about it. It looks like living through something instead of curating it for a story because the internet rewards visibility. But real life rewards depth, consistency, self-trust. Some of your most important chapters will never be documented. And that doesn't make them any less valuable. It makes them real. You don't need proof to validate your path. You just need presence. It's not enough to just know the system is broken. You've got to start pulling your power back because your time, your attention, your peace, they're not infinite. So here's how you reclaim them. Mute the noise. Seriously. Even if they're not doing anything wrong, if their posts make you feel like you're losing, protect your peace. You can always refollow later. Time block your scrolls. Give yourself windows to check in and windows to check out. Otherwise, the feed bleeds into your whole day, your whole mind. Make a done list. Forget the to-do list for a second. Write down everything you did today, even the small stuff. You'll start to see you're not stuck. You're just too busy surviving to celebrate. Define your own progress. What does growth look like for you? Not for your feed, not for your audience, for you. And talk to people in real life. Because nothing resets your sense of reality like a human conversation that isn't trying to sell you something. These aren't hacks, they're lifelines. And you don't need to do them perfectly, just intentionally. You're not a brand, you're not a content strategy, you're not an algorithm waiting to be optimized. You're a person, a full, complicated, brilliant, tired, alive human being. And somewhere along the way, we started treating ourselves like projects, as if every phase of life needs to be productive, documented, profitable. But you are not here to be consumed. You are here to live, fully, without needing to prove it every 5 minutes. You don't need a niche. You don't need a 5-year plan. You don't need to post your healing, your habits, or your highlights. You need space and silence. And sometimes you just need to exist without explaining yourself. The version of you that moves slowly, that questions things, that disappears to recalibrate. That version is not broken. It's real, and it's worthy. Even when it's offline, you are not behind. You are alive. And that is enough. There is no scoreboard in the sky, no timer tracking your progress, no silent jury grading your every move. The internet made everything feel loud, urgent, performative. But you're allowed to move quietly, to grow slowly, to heal without turning it into content, to build something real without showing every brick. Some of the most beautiful chapters in your life will happen off camera, unshared, unpolished, unseen. And that's okay. That's more than okay. If you're still here, still trying, still choosing to show up, even when it's messy, even when no one's watching, then you're not falling behind. You're living in your own timing, on your own terms. And that is exactly where you're supposed to be.